Kolejna analiza Iron Cameraman. Zapraszam. Zostawcie lajka, bo tutaj jest naprawdę dużo rzeczy się działo w tym parcie czwartym, nie?
Or at the very least, by diving into the status of the Tvman Titan.
No właśnie, pytanie, czy uda się Tytanowi Tvmanowi uciec, nie? Zostawcie lajka oczywiście. O, coś zaskoczyło. Fajne są te w ogóle... Fajne są te nowe Skibidi Toilet, nie?
Hiding interesting elements that are almost impossible to catch on a regular watch. For instance, did you notice that in episode 77, part 4, there was a brief appearance of the Skibidi
Ty kot!
even though my
To jest ciekawe, nie? Skibidi kot tu jest, ty. O jacie.
sent me a screenshot and the exact
No, także mówię wam, że te odcinki to trzeba z rozjaśnieniem oglądać. I tak chyba sobie zrobimy.
timestamp of this cute creature. I couldn't find
Kot,
the frame
Skibidi kot, słuchajcie. Ciekawe, czy to jest ten kot, który wystąpił w shortach.
way. Give it a try yourself. Right now on screen, you're seeing a replay of that fragment. It turns out this little guy was hiding behind smoke and appears for
No,
just a
tutaj.
split second, illuminated by a flash.
Ale on nie ma, wiecie, tych ulepszeń od Astro, ma tylko same rakiety, nie?
Besides that, there's a later reference to the YouTuber The Needle Drop, who does music reviews. At first, I thought this mention was just for
A,
fun,
jest tu
as
ten
if
z
Boom
głośnikami, patrzcie, Skibidi Toilet. Widzicie go?
simply wanted to show his appreciation for The Needle Drop's content. But after watching the entire episode and hearing G-Man's line, I don't remember asking. I realized it was actually a callback, not just to a YouTuber, but to an old animation by Defuk. It all started when I was doing a live stream
Serio? Tu jest
on
nawiązanie?
my Russian channel, and one of the viewers pointed out an interesting detail.
Data, don't remember what asking, it's reference to the old Dafug video, who
It
asked.
turns out that G-Man's line
okay.
appeared in Defuk Boom's video, Who Asked, which he made 2 years ago. Here's a side-by-side comparison of both scenes for you.
But I really don't remember asking.
So why am I mentioning
Okej,
this?
ciekawe, że to jest nawiązanie.
At the start of that animation, Male 09 tells Male 07 about the history of the band Depeche Mode.
Depeche
basically
Mode, no,
giving
to
a
jest-
review, just like the
Depeche Mode to jest ulubiona muzyka tego Booma, i się nie dziwię, ja też lubię
Defuk
Depeche Mode.
referenced in this episode. Can you believe how genius that is? And what if I told you that Defuk Boom even used Depeche Mode's music in the short
Tak, no
version of
oczywiście.
episode 59, where we saw the cameraman Titan and speakerman Titan? But we're probably getting ahead of ourselves here. If I happen to find a connection, and it turns out this is a hidden spoiler for the plot of the next episode, I'll
Ciekawe.
definitely update you in my next video.
No ciekawe, jeżeli to by było nawiązanie jakieś ukryte, że Tytan kamera przeżył i się pojawi.
So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss my future theories. And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy these
To by było
analyses,
ciekawe, nie?
rather than just a straight fame out. Dafuk Boom teased fans, saying he had a plan. But it's kind of weird that the plan was just run away. We'll come back to that though.
No ale ciekawe, czy ten plan Tvmana, no i co, jaki to był plan, żeby co zrobić? Nie wiem.
Naturally, the Juggernaut didn't just let him go and managed to strike, interrupting the teleport. After a couple of solid hits, they ended up grappling, which, by the way, is the shot used in the episode's preview. It's likely a nod to the popular meme of two guys fighting while holding hands. After that, the Juggernaut delivered another impressive series of hits. What stood out was a double punch with the same hand, achieved by spinning rapidly around his axis. This
To jest
sent the
dobre,
Titan
taki
TV man
kołowrotek.
flying toward a nearby mountain, and the Juggernaut, calling him pathetic, fired his cannon. But then Titan TV Man decided to show off his secret weapon, a powerful astro claw hidden on his back. Not only did he manage to catch the blast, but he hurled it right back. His satisfied expression and a cheeky
No to jest
surprise
dobre, nie?
left the
To może to była
Juggernaut
ta tajny plan,
Realizing
nie?
this guy was no joke, Juggernaut quickly activated his shield. The impact was so powerful that the screen filled with static for a few seconds, and the Juggernaut was thrown back. If we look back at episode 7,
No to jest mega odrzut ma.
Titan was also thrown by a blast wave without even touching a bomb. It's clear that Juggernaut's weapon packs some serious power. So, Titan TV Man decided to go for his signature super jump attack on the Juggernaut.
Tym razem mu wyszło, nie?
We saw him use this move a lot in episode 73, but back then, it seemed pretty ineffective and kinda dumb.
No.
This time, he's clearly learned a thing or two, and like a subway pickpocket, sneakily swiped the Juggernaut's weapon right off him. The Juggernaut didn't notice right away
Najlepsze jest to,
and
że
was just
ukradł mu tą broń,
about
nie?
to fire, only to realize he was now holding an enormous purple sword. At this point, he knew he was screwed as the blast shot back from Titan TV Man. By the way, this scene reminded me a lot of Avengers Endgame.
No
In
to
the
jest też porównanie do tego rzeczywiście Avengersów,
fight
nie?
when Iron Man lunges at Thanos, gets thrown back, and Thanos is ready to snap, only to find the Infinity Stones have somehow made their way onto Iron Man's hand. Boom didn't show the full weapon connection process, but I suspect the TV men have the ability to swap weapons without enhancements or losing their primary arm. Remember the TV man from episode 56?
No właśnie, tutaj zamienił się w nóż ta ręka, nie?
Who transformed
Może
his
mają
arm
taką
into
zdolność.
blades? Or the TV woman at the end of episode 73, who also managed to replace her hands with something else.
No.
After this move, the Juggernaut says to TV Man, "You dare use my weapon against me?" And TV Man responds, "Gonna cry?" The Juggernaut pretends to walk
Najlepszy.
away, and TV Man is
Ale że
already ready to
TV Man
leave,
się
calling
dał
him a coward.
nabrać,
But then
słuchajcie.
the Juggernaut speeds in from behind. It turns out TV Man's whole plan was to kill the Juggernaut using his own weapon. But Juggernaut was 2 steps ahead and came up with a clever counter. By this time, the Juggernaut had already broken Titan TV Man's left claws and Astro Claw, and after saying, "Surrender," he even tore off the weapon. He then symbolically used the same move TV Man had started with, grabbing
No i mu
his
tu
own
wbił,
sword
nie?
and
To jest
plunging it into the main
własną
TV
bronią.
screen. Then, taking things up a notch, he ripped the entire TV off, held it in his hand, and addressed the POV cameraman.
Masakra ta
And
scena.
this is your strongest soldier? Suddenly, the Titan gets back up and stabs the Juggernaut
Ale
in the
ten,
eye.
w ogóle
Take
ten
note,
promień
he didn't have
nie,
a single
nie działa.
working TV at this
No.
point. Even the small one had been broken before the fight, and the side TVs were already gone. This suggests that the brain part of his system is somewhere else entirely.
No
Honestly,
właśnie, tak
placing
jakby...
the core system somewhere unexpected makes perfect sense, so the enemy can't figure out
No nie da się go, słuchajcie, pokonać, bo jego część jest gdzieś ukryta w innym wymiarze.
where
Tak
to strike right
obstawiam.
away. Now I'm nervous about where the TV man scientist decided to hide it. Anyway, let's move on. In the end, the Juggernaut easily subdues the poor Titan again, telling him not to bother standing up as resistance is futile. In the background, we suddenly see an Astro fighter crashing down. Then 2 more fighters appear, and when the camera pans to the right, we're shown an army of Skibidi toilets, led by the G Squad. Apart from the Skibidi cat,
No tu jest ten Skibidi kod i ten,
there's
no.
also a ton of Striders and different hybrids. Of course, the DJ isn't missing out either. We also see the Rambo Skibidi mutant with a megaphone.
Tylko
It's
co
hard to
ciekawe,
tell what
co
he's
się z nimi stało po tym, jak Tytan TV Man zaczął uciekać, nie?
yelling, but with
Na
my
końcu.
1000 IQ, I could read his lips. He's saying,
Skibidi toilets, assemble.
then things get wild. Even
Może
the
tak
Skibidi
powiedział.
scientist joins the battle. Of course, the real one is long dead. This is just his mech suit from episode 67.
No
However,
i
the new scientist
dziurę miał wypaloną, to dali tamtego,
Kleiner
nie?
has clearly done a good job restoring it, and I think he's the one piloting the suit, actually.
Pewnie
And I'm
tak,
not the
nie?
only one with that theory. One of my subscribers made the same suggestion
Tak, Kleiner to
in
będzie.
the comments. Remember how Titan TV Man used to create a hole in his face with his core? Looks like the
Teraz
Skibidi
tam ma
toilets
cyklop,
didn't
nie?
bother making a new face and just stuck a laser weapon in the hole. This trend is getting disturbing. In episode 76,
No tu też jest,
we
nie?
saw a cannon in the mouth, machine gun in his This new scientist is just a perv. All right, jokes aside, let's move on. The Juggernaut sees all this and says, "This changes nothing."
I
Before
cyk
hitting
Tytana TV
Man
Mana.
again and telling him he'll soon meet a fate worse than death. My guess is he's hinting at the death of everyone the TV man cares about. Out of nowhere, G-Man appears behind him. What's interesting is that he keeps fading in and out, as if he can go invisible. Or maybe it's just Boom's editing style.
Nie no, specjalnie chciał pokazać nam, że G-Man może być niewidzialny,
Like
nie?
when Kathy's face briefly appeared in part
Tak mi się
with
wydaje.
"Miss me?" G-Man kinda greets an old friend, following up with a direct, "Hey, old buddy," and Juggernaut actually calls him Commander, reminding us of G-Man's Astro past. At this point, the Titan TV man, who apparently can't see due to the lack of TVs, asks, "Who's yapping?" He might think G-Man's talking about him as the old friend.
Czekajcie, jak on leży w ten sposób, nie? Może się teraz... To ciekawe... Ty, ciekawe, czy jak on nie widzi, czy on jest w stanie się przeteleportować do dobrej bazy. Może się pomylił i poleciał do głośników, nie?
Titan TV's official name is Duchess, so this implies Duke is her husband, meaning the top Astro toilet is actually him. This changes our understanding of the Astro toilets and their hierarchy a lot. Maybe I'll make a separate
To jest tak jakby takie
video on this in
średniowieczna
future.
hierarchia, nie?
After all that classic villain phrasing, you'll never defeat our army. And right then, 2 floating lasers appear behind him, which turn out to be G-Man's arms. And as I mentioned at the start, he responds with the legendary line from Dafik Boom's old animation, "I don't remember asking." After the verbal showdown, they get into a fist fight, and the Juggernaut is shocked at how much weaker G-Man is now, saying, "You used to be stronger," referring to his time as
ciekawe,
commander of
nie?
the Astro toilets. G-Man mocks
No
him.
ale on to specjalnie robi. Patrzcie, uśmiechnął się, on to ściemnia, no bo wiecie, podpuszcza
flips him
go.
off and makes a dramatic exit. Juggernaut, being a hothead, accepts the fight though. Honestly, I'd have backed out knowing how crafty G-Man is. After they leave, an Astro transporter arrives and gives us a menacing stare. The POV cameraman decides to rush toward the smoke coming from Titan TV man.
Ty, ale to mnie zastanawia tu, patrzcie, to wygląda jakby były głośniki, nie?
Rush toward the smoke
Tu, głośnik.
coming from Titan TV man, planning to teleport with him. We saw something similar at the end of episode
Pytanie, czy
74.
się udało
That was
Tytanowi
part
teleportować.
4, but the description says that's not the end of episode 77. A lot of us, myself included, thought there'd be a part 5. But during a lot
Nie, tu będzie full epizod, nie? Pewnie dodatkowe 3 minutki będą. No zobaczymy, nie?